Today's education how to, that picture's too big. I'll bring it back up again, see if we can change it while recording. Boom, 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 HDU. That's a bit better. That's a bit, as I say, sucking that's a bit better. You don't have to look at my ugly mug as badly, or whatever is the best way of saying it. Okay. I'll have to do this basic. We're going to build a house, a small, simple house, and I'm going to try and remember all the instructions and say them. So first thing is Shift A, and we have to scroll all the way up when that decides to do it. Oh, crepes. See, when you add things onto this, I haven't changed this to basic. I should have a basic setup. Would make it easier. You get a cube. There we go. We have a lovely cube, and it isn't centered. So go across to the top right hand corner, and there's items, and we'll pull that out, and it's set. It's set where the cursor is. The cursor isn't centered, so at least rotation and scales all dimensions. Dimensions are set 2 meters. You set the dimensions. Scene property. It gives you units, and that's metric. You can go inches, imperial, degrees, meters, kilograms, seconds, Kelvin. I don't know how you use Kelvin. So we'll set all this to 0, 0, and 0. Okay, that means the x-axis is going through it. The y-axis, I'll bring it over here and go into perspective. So y is there, and z, which is up and down. So we press 1, brings it back to what's called the orthographic. And we have the cube, and we're in object mode. So we need to change to edit mode. So come up here in the top left hand corner, drop down menu, edit, and we'll also have to see this here, this baby here. This is X-ray mode. It means when I select these top two, I select the back two. So out of X-ray mode, we'll select them two, and then we'll go into perspective. Hasn't been selected. Press A to deselect everything. 1, back to orthographic. Orthographic's handy because you don't have the perspective to use, which can be a bit a nuisance. But then, on the other hand, once you go off straight forward, or hard left, hard right, hard up, hard down, if you go off that, then you need the perspective. So collect that baby there. Go back, select, just to show. Oops. Middle button. There you go. Okay. So a wee trick here is select, extrude, but don't extrude, and enter. And then we'll go back. Good thing when you do select is it remembers the select, so when we can Control Z to go back. So we'll do that, and then we'll scale a little bit out. And now we're going to extrude it again. And it's a separate, so let's see, that's it. We'll go about that, looks good. So what we'll have is we've created a roof, but it's a square roof, which isn't much use. So what we're going to do is this top bit is I'm going to scale it to 0. But I'm going to scale only on one dimension, which is the X dimension. You see here, this shows you The Y is coming forward and going back. X is going left and right, and Z is going up and down. So X, scale S, and then X, and I can't move it. You'll see up in the top left hand corner scale 1. I'm going to change that to 0. You got a triangle, and there you go. That's the house. Right, next thing is we're going to make a door. And I select the square. Oh, I've got to sneeze. I'm going to I'll edit that out. Alright, let's select that baby. As I say, we're still in X-ray mode, so that's basically the whole cube. In fact, normally you prefer to scale one face. You would choose face, check the face button. I want to subdivide everything on this cube. So we right hand click on the mouse, and you have options here. In edit options, you have one set of options. When you're in object mode, if you have another set of options, and you'll be using the object mode's left hand click quite a lot. So subdivide, and the menu comes up here, and you can choose down at the bottom left hand corner, and choose how many subdivides. So we'll do. Oh no, I might do more. No. Right, we'll make it a big house. A little door. Right, we've got all that subdivided. You try and avoid lots of subdivisions because it gets heavy on the GPU. It slows down your rendering times, and especially if you're in render mode, which is here. You know, it shows you the shadows and everything, and it's good. I prefer to work in viewport shading mode. Nice. Material preview, that's what it is. And that's renders. Solid, that's okay. When you get really complex, you're using wireframe, and you have to get pretty sharp about how to select things, how to deselect. A very important tool is the inverse select. You select what you want to edit, and then Control I to inverse select, and that selects everything you don't want to select, and then you press H to hide it, and you're left with what you want to edit. But we'll go back to, oops, go back to the right one, back to material preview, and we're going to have a little door here. I'll go face select, you'll see the wee dots. So that's the door, and we could do the half, like a country door. I'll take off X-ray because it's going to be a bit confusing. The nice thing about this is you can extrude it out, but you can actually extrude in. This is what we're going to do. So we're going to extrude, so E, and it guesses which you want to go. So it's guessing we're on the Y-axis. There it is. You've got a little inset door. And now go back. Give it 2 windows. Extrude in. It's very sort of Germanic looking, like Alpine building. So that's the shapes designed, and we'll go back to object mode to see what this looks like. And you see nothing, but we'll go into render, and now you see little windows. What we can do is take wee spaces there if we want. I think I'll do the two sides. So we'll go back to, what do you call it? Material preview, yeah. And back to edit mode. There we go. Press extrude, and as I say, it's guessing. The other time it's going on the y-axis, and it's guessed the x-axis. If you want to change the axis, you just press either y, z, or we want to press x, and there you go. And do the same on the other side. Then when we're taking multiple ones, you hold down shift, and you pick that. If you hold down control, then it'll run a path. I'll show you with this here. If you do control, it fills in the path between. You can have that there, but it's just shift for now. That's handy for filling in large areas. And as you say, extrude, and we have, that's it. Now I want the roof to be separate from the house, so because I'm going to put different colours in. And what we do now is we select the roof, and I want to select the bottom of it as well. There we go. The good thing, if you hit the wrong button, see something like that there, you just Control Z to undo. It's very handy that, because you will regularly hit the wrong thing. Right, we've got what we've selected. We want that to be a separate object, and press P. Separate selection, and tab to go into object mode. This is a handy thing. You would press tab to select between object and edit mode. It'll float between the last two modes, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modes. There's actually 7, but you don't see the 7th mode unless you're using armatures and you're positioning things. That's when things get complex. Right, with 2 objects now. See, that's one. We need to give them a name, because this here, the scene selection gets very, very filled up very quickly. Call that the roof, and we'll call that the house. Okay, so we have that, and I want the roof to be dark for now. So we'll come on down to material properties, press new, and beside it here we've got the option to give it a name. We'll call it roof. Always go for simple names, don't go for fancy names. Simple, logical names. I done a project years and years ago when I was just starting, and I gave everything Lord of the Ring names. Gandalf, Frodo, Gamgee, you name it. Came back to it a month later and did not have a clue what they meant. So as long as they're relevant to what you're actually doing, then you have an idea. So I'll get back here. Now by pressing nodes, it means I can go to the scene editor. Here, I can show you here. We can go to the shader editor, and we can node edit the shade. But we'll not just do that today. We'll just click on the base color, make it sort of browny, darker brown, yeah, and then bring the darkness down. There we go. That's sort of like a little bit of a Bangor blue hint there. I like that. Right, and that's the house. We now click on the house itself. That's the roof done, the house. I was saying we'll click new again, and we'll click on the, double click on this here and give it the name house. So this is the house material. You do a drop down and you'll see house and roof. See, quickly changes it to roof. Why did that go brown? Weird. Yeah, it does weird stuff like that. It can be quite annoying. Just because it's a computer doesn't mean it's perfect. I'm not worried about the back. Okay, we'll give that a creamy colour. A little touch of it and make it brighter. So, no, I'll bring it up to the white. You've two options in changing things here. RGB, when you're changing the colour. RGB is red, green, blue, and alpha. Alpha is for when you're looking to have something transparent. The more alpha, then the more see-through, or one side see-through, the other side solid. Sometimes it's easier to use HSV, don't know what that stands for. But I bring the S takes it away from the centre or near the centre. I know this here, this must be shade. H is hue, and it goes round the circle. So we can bring that back to that. V, oh, the V is the intensity of that, so we'll just leave that about there, closer to the white. Let's go further away. A little bit more yellow. That'll do. Close to there, and I'll move that. That's it. That's what I'm after. And lighten it. Yeah, we'll be at this for years. I'm looking at creamy colour. That's it. There it is. Right, so what we have now is the windows. Right, do the windows properly, then we need to separate them and make them transparent. So, select the house, change it to edit mode, and we'll select the windows. Okay, and press P, selection, and back out to object mode. That's it, that's great, they're all the one, I want to keep them the one, and name that Windows. Windows, all the one. And we're going to have to go a wee bit more complex here, unfortunately. I'm going to put that as white. So max everything. Oh, obviously not. Zero everything. No, that's what I'm after. And to make transparent, you go transmission. Oh, you idiot. Right, I'll go back. Leave that alone. I didn't make the separate properties for this material. Okay, Windows. Windows. these colours white. Yeah, I'll do roughness. It always gives it a bit of roughness. So we'll take that away because this is going to be glass. And transmission. Let's see. House. A bit fussy, a bit of feeling, right. Take that away. Yeah. I've used a different panel to rename this more, just to have a bit of control. It's flexible that way. Yes, we're getting there. Right. Roughness. Get rid of that. You'll see this bit of change in material properties better. In the render view. Metallic, make it shiny. You see how it's gone shiny? Okay, we can have that. Transmission. Right, where are we? I think it looks like Eevee. We're in. Should have checked. No, we're in cycles. Right. That's because of metallic. Right, we'll bring the metallic down. That's it, so you can see right through now. See that? Now I put a wee light in that to let you know it's definitely a wee house. So we'll do that there. I'll show you how to put a light in. It's useful. So Shift A down to light. Use a spotlight. And press 7 to go up top so we can see, look at the size of that. Now the thing with moving stuff, it's handy, is to exclude one parameter. So we don't want to move it in the up and down parameter, which is Z. So we'll go grab, which is to move, and then Shift Z to exclude Z. And all you do, you're moving X and Y. We've moved it into the middle of the house. And show nothing. So this is showing where it's lighting up, which is obviously way too big. So we'll, let's see. Oh, I'm not really fussed with that at all. We'll change that to an area. That's better. And that's it. That's what we're after. Okay. Right. I'll give a wee blue tinge to the windows. So we'll go to RGB. Select. No, I don't want that there. You can put in numbers or slide. Green. Pull that back a wee bit. Pull that back. There we go. So we've got the windows in. We'll do the door. I'll show you a wee thing with the door. So back to edit mode. Select the two doors. P, select object mode, select the door. I'm going to make them two separate bits so they can move separately, and then we'll do wee animation. Okay. Right, back to edit mode. P select, that's okay. And back to object mode. Right, there's two, they're separate now, but I'll name them. Call it door. I obviously didn't select that before I need. Right. Door bottom. You have to get a good way of naming is to name the object, then give it its a property. If it's door bottom, then door top, so that when you're looking for the doors, then everything's in the one place. It makes it easier to find. And that's door top. So there we have door bottom, door top. Right, and properties, so we need new material, and it's going to be door, door, and now I'm going to get rid of or hide what I don't want to work with, because I don't want to be trying to peer through objects. It gets awkward. So select, press H, they disappear. The glass isn't going to be too big a problem. They're still there, haven't deleted them. Right, so I want, that's the door. And I want it dark. A bit darker. About there. Yeah. And that's it, house material. So just go down and select door, because I've named it and it's easy found. Right, we're going to go up top. We're going to have the top one wiggle. And this is a wee bit of a technical thing, but it's nice to know. Right. First, I'm going to, when you turn this here, let's see now, edit mode. Right, so we'll select that there. No, I'll go back to object mode. It's in object mode, I need to do this first of all. Object mode, and it has, if you turn it, say rotate X, or Z, it's easier, that's it, right. That's rotating, but there's a point way outside of the object. That's called that point's called the origin point, and it's in the wrong place for this object. So right click, go down, set origin point, and you have set origin geometry to origin point, which will move the object to the origin point. Origin to geometry is what we're going to do, which moves the point to the middle of the object. Origin to 3D cursor. There's a couple of other ones I've never used, but that's the three I use. We'll be using this first one to start with. See, and the dot has appeared in the middle. So we rotate Z, which knows gives it that movement. Escape, which isn't what we want, but that's to show you. This is why we're going to go in the top down view. Now I'm going to move the cursor. What you do is hold shift and left click. Sorry, my mistake. Hold shift and right click. There we go, and I'll zoom in. I like it sort of tight. That's so shift, right click, and that's where the 3D cursor is. A wee bit closer. Sometimes can be a bit pedantic about this. There we go. So got the object selected, and then I'm going to right click and set origin to 3D cursor. Now the origin of the object is at the left hand side. So when I rotate vertically, that's it. Okay, now that is the build. We're going to do a quick animation here. So we'll need everything back. So everything that's hidden you want to see again, press Alt and H, brings everything back. And we have this here. So we have the timeline already up on the bottom window. You just come here to this little bit here, press the drop down, and it lets you go move. So timeline. So you select the object now. This is for move animation of the objects. Select, and you press I. And what we will be selecting here is rotation. And we start as the position it is right now is at the wee thing here, the bottom, we diamond at position 1. We'll go to, you have to move now to the cursor, that's the timeline, to 81, and do rotate, and Z, move it out, that's it, to there, and I again, and rotation, and then go right to the very end. You always have to do the timeline first and then the movement. Back to there, and R, Z, back in again. And I, this is the last bit, is to tell it this is what we want. That's back in. You see that they appear here and lets you know you can change these as well. You can then go into graph editor, graphically move things when things get complex. So to see what the camera's seeing, you press 0. And the camera is looking at something odd, so we're going to have to move the camera. So back. Now the only thing's moving is that wee door. So what I want to move the camera without fidgeting about too much is I get what I want, where I want. So that's what the image I want. I move it without having to move the camera. You can do Alt 0 and automatically moves the camera to your viewport. Wouldn't mind moving that back a wee bit. So we'll go up. Where's the camera? Here it is. So camera selected, G and Shift Z, and pull it back a wee bit. That's it. You can also put up another mirror or another window and see what's going, and see what that looks like. Excellent. So we'll render this. So that's Control F12. And let's see. Oh, Is it? Right, it's going to be quite slow. So I'll stop recording here and we'll get back. Okay, we're back, and we have done it in the EV instead of cycles just for a bit of speed up. So the mirrors aren't see-through. EV, it's faster but has its limitations. So we'll take this away. Here we go. Right, this is back in Blender, and we'll have a look at the finished result. View animation. Right, it's pretty clunky on the first run round once it loads up in memory. And second run should move smoothly. There we go. And there it goes again. That's the wee house built and the wee animation for it. The wee half door. Okay, that's my first proper video tutorial. I hope it helps someday, because I had to go through a lot of these myself and they were very, very useful. So best of luck and enjoy the use of Blender.